Ahoy hoy gang, if this is your first time with us, welcome, and if you're joining us from a previous video, hey, we love to see it, and I hope you're doing well. It's Season 3! Honestly, probably one of the strongest seasons of early American Dad, one of the hardest top 5 lists I've had to make, and the worst part is, I wish I could say it was easier after this, and it wasn't! So, what were some of my favorite episodes of Season 3? There's only one way to find out, so come with me! Number 5, Tearjerker. While Family Guy would do Blue Harvest and Cleveland Show would do Die Hard, I think the one thing that really made American Dad stand out is when they did Tearjerker, it was not a direct ripoff of a James Bond movie. It wasn't just Goldfinger with Stan in it. It was its own thing. It had a lot of references to like James Bond elements, but it was its own parody. And I actually really appreciated that. I appreciated the creativity that went into making Stan this all-American secret agent man and how they incorporated all the family into it. I like Human Klaus. He is unsettling to me in the best way. Roger as Tearjerker is of course brilliant, and who could forget Oscar Gold? I mean, the writing in Season 3 is probably some of the strongest of the entire show, and yeah, just, he's Oscar Gold. It gets me every time. I just start crying, I'm laughing so hard. Haley's use is great, Steve's wonderful in it, we get the return of Captain Monty. Tearjerker is one of the best episodes of American Dad. The problem is, For Black Eyes Only is fine. It could not recapture the magic of Tearjerker. Tearjerker was also an episode I grew up with, so it was more topical then. Now it's kind of petered off just with how the internet's become more mainstream, but it still holds up, I think. I really, really enjoy it. Number 4, the 42-year-old virgin. The older I've gotten, the more I appreciate the 42-year-old virgin. It not only is it just a dumb parody of the 40-year-old virgin, which is just the weirdest Judd Apatow movie. Let's see Steve Carell get waxed and laid. It's genius. We were desperate for content in the 2000s. But the 42-year-old virgin is great because it still stands on its own even if you don't know the movie it's parodying. It's still a great Stan adventure. It's got Bad Larry in it. And who could hate Bad Larry? He's done some bad things. I love Bad Larry. I'm mad we didn't get more of him. I'm mad he's only in that one episode. But like, yeah, even the new neighbor and Steve not respecting Stan, like, it all sounds horrible when you explain it. But when you watch it, it works. When he's picking blueberries for peace, you're like, oh. The rodent on a stick, it has every element that I need. The polar bears should not be feeding this to their children. And I think, even going back to Tearjerker, this is why these two episodes work so well. Again, they are not direct parodies. They are not hitting the exact same notes as the movies, so they can do weirder and dumber stuff. Like, they take it to an extreme that I'm avoiding to stay monetized. But you know the episode if you click the video, and you know it's an episode worth watching. That end bit is hysterical. I also love the churro inspector. It's just, why not? Why not? They call him Chili because he's got ice in his veins. Number 3, Franny 911. Franny 911 is not only a really, really great Roger episode, but it is a phenomenal Francine episode. It goes into her enabling behavior and why she always defends Roger, even though Roger does not deserve her defense a lot of the time. It's wonderful seeing Stan have to, cohabitate with Roger, and how Roger constantly gets in his way, how he turns his office or his den into a Turkish bath just cause, why not? On top of that, you have Steve trying to be a backup dancer, and then Haley and Klaus just getting into like a dare war with each other. It shouldn't work. It's so mundane in so many ways. Like, there's no alien elements or supernatural elements. It's literally just Roger getting on Stan's last nerve. So Francine tries to trick him, and he is, again, it is a wonderful episode with Stan being both really smart and really dumb. He sees the caller ID. He's not stupid. That's one of the best jokes of the whole episode. Did he say, "We have caller ID"? Did he say, "Next time don't call from your cell phone"? Like, that's great. That shows why he's a CIA agent. There is so many things about it that just work because Roger is just so obnoxious. And like, again, I know it's a weird thing to say, kudos to Seth MacFarlane for voicing Stan and Roger the way he does. I know I am always giving credit to voice actors, and it seems weird to do, especially with American Dad, but Seth MacFarlane is a big part of why American Dad works. He may have a lot of same voices in like Family Guy, but there is a diversity to his voice acting in American Dad that I really appreciate, especially in this episode.
Number 2, Office Spaceman.
Alright, so I'm gonna be real with you, gang. The A story is perfect. I adore the A story. It's one of the first times we get the newspaper cut, like, actually directly impacted by the intro, which is amazing. Like, again, it's not that Family Guy's never done it. It's not that The Simpsons has never done it. But American Dad was willing to do it and challenge its own formula only 3 seasons in. That's fun. That's cool. I like that. They were being creative. But, I mean, you get thrown into the A story right there. Roger takes candid pictures of himself, calls himself Parker Peters, and, it's so he can get him a car or whatever. The B story took me by surprise. I adored every bit of it. Francine hates left-handed people because she's left-handed, and her family thinks she's racist, and I just... For the longest time, so when I was a kid and I first watched this episode, I could have swore when Haley called her friends in for the pool party, one of them went, "Yeah, alligator!" But I couldn't, I could never hear it again. Every time I watched the episode, it wasn't there. Until I downloaded the original DVD stuff and I heard it. It was just in a stereo record. It was just in one ear. So I wasn't able to hear it at all. It's a very dumb tangent, an absolutely dumb tangent, but it will always make this episode special to me. Office Spaceman is probably one of the best Stan and Roger episodes. It's got wonderful comedy, a fantastic B story that feels so believable, and an A story that is just like, you know what? This is alien enough. This is surreal enough to be an American Dad plot. It's down to earth, and yet it's about an alien. I don't know. Office Spaceman is an episode I can quote almost verbatim and not miss a beat. It is one of those episodes I have revisited the most, and still, it's not number 1. Number 1, Stanny Slickers 2, The Legend of Ollie's Gold. This is probably gonna be divisive, but between the Camp House rock about Iran-Contra and Stan just having this mystifying conspiracy theory about Ollie North's gold, it's just, this is around the time that Stan and American Dad as a whole was sort of moving away from the political commentary, but to have him be so into Oliver North and buying the house from North and believing that there's hidden gold down there, that's great. That's wonderful. You find out Haley's middle name is Dream Smasher. Like, Stanny Slickers 2 is perfect. It is everything you need, because at the end of it, Stan gets his vindication. If Stan just picked up the gold and left instead of coming up with, "Hey, you," it would have worked. But he got cocky. And that is a perfectly Stan thing to do. It's an episode about legacy. You get to see, Steve and Haley acting out, but not really. Francine worrying about Stan. But I think the thing that really pulls it together is Greg and Terry. Greg and Terry as the documentarians filming his descent into madness adds so much to the episode, and it really made me appreciate them as side characters. Again, going back to how Seth MacFarlane voices Greg. They're fantastic characters. They're fun characters. And every time I go back to Stanny Slickers 2, I can quote it. Again, and much like Office Spaceman, I can quote it verbatim, and I love it. It's one of mine and my wife's favorite episodes, and it just hits different. And there we have it, that's season 3! Anything you think I was right on, wrong on? What are your top 5 favorite episodes of season 3? Ultimately, season 3 was just banger after banger. There is some high quality daddage here in this season, and it was great to revisit it for this list. And if you liked what you saw, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, all our patrons and members get these episodes first, so you do not want to miss out. And you can join this wonderful list of incredible people. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time as we dive into Season 4!